All right, welcome to the Random Topic Podcast. This is Ep.2, the Wombo Combo double upload for today. So this topic is going to be not as serious as my previous topic, so there will be some gameplay in the background. I have a friend who's decided that he's going to be placing whatever kind of gameplay he's recording and putting it in the background, so it's probably going to be like Fortnite or something, so you just have to deal with it. But so let's get into the topic. And the topic today is something that you definitely know about if you've ever been on the internet before. The topic is furries. Oof, yeah, I know. All right, strap in. So furries, what's the deal with them? Why would someone ever associate with themselves as a furry? Why would everyone want to identify themselves? Why are furries spreading at such a popular rate? Why are they, I guess you'd say, multiplying by the numbers every day? And I have talked to several furries. Actually, a huge portion of my friend group online happens to associate themselves as a furry or identify themselves as a furry. And I've always kind of had this morbid curiosity, if you will, with furries. I've always kind of wondered why exactly, and not in a bad way, just wondering why, just kind of curious. So I've asked some people, and one of the main reasons that I'm told is they feel like they identify themselves as that anthropomorphic character, as someone who they truly see themselves as, and someone as they can relate to. Another factor is sort of a sense of security, sense of belonging in a group, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. If you got a group of friends and they all share similar interests with you, go for it, man. You do you. And a lot of issues that people have with the furry fandom is just kind of an undefined hate or disgust towards them. And I'm not gonna lie here. Some of the stuff I have seen has definitely scarred me a little bit, just a little bit, just like a lot, just like extreme amounts of scarring mentally. But it's not all bad. That's the thing. And what people like to do is they like to associate with generalizing a particular side of a group or fandom and associating that with everyone in the fandom. So that's sort of why I think furries are mostly hated on. And in reality, it's just these group of people who associate themselves as that character or want to join a group and find they have friends in that group and then decide to join for themselves. And what no one really talks about is, I'm not trying to be like all preachy and stuff, but what no one really talks about is, I've heard from friends, is that they have these furry conventions or fur cons or whatever, and at these conventions they actually raise a considerable amount of money for charity. And I think that's fantastic. I think that's anyone doing that, any group whatsoever, is raising money for charity is definitely a good group in my book. So I would say definitely, if the furries I've met and the furries that I am friends with, I would say overall, mostly, that the furry fandom is kind of a nice place to be. It's not all bad, and I've had to kind of really realize that too, because I used to absolutely hate furries. I mean, really hate them. They freaked me out so much. I got to the point where I couldn't even look at like NFL like mascots and stuff. You know how they dress up in their mascots. I couldn't even look at that whenever it would come on the TV when I was watching football with my family. I look away or really look in disgust at the furry like mascots, because that's what I learned as soon as I learned what a furry was. That's kind of what I would associate them with, is these people in these suits, and it forms sort of like a hatred or disgust towards them. And the reason why I did that is because I feel like I was afraid of not knowing why they did this, not knowing why they would associate themselves as an animal, when being human, in my opinion, is the greatest thing you can be. You share such amazing, complex abilities with mentally and physically, and everyone is so diverse that why would you not want to be a human? Why would you want to associate yourself as an animal? Some people would think feral or animalistic, and that took me a while to kind of figure out why exactly someone would want to do that. But like I said in those reasons before, is they like the group, they like the comfort, the support. They don't have anyone else in some cases, and they turn towards this fandom, and they're supported and loved by these strangers, and it feels good for them, and they enjoy it. And another reason that I don't think I've said yet, but another reason is they kind of want somewhere to really fit in, because they may feel like they don't fit in with anywhere else, and that's nothing wrong with that either. But like I said previously, there are some things about the furry fandom that can definitely be traumatizing. Like, I'm talking some messed up stuff, right, that I've seen. Not necessarily saying, like, I have to say this as a disclaimer, sort of, that not everyone does this. Not everyone a part of the furry fandom is sort of involved in this situation, but just to keep it general and bland, to kind of keep it not completely crazy. But there is sexual content about these animals and their kind of quirks and all of that stuff that people like to associate with. And, you know, it's, to me personally, I find it kind of weird that my friends would associate themselves like that to a non-existent anthropomorphic character. But I kind of learned that, you know, it's what people want to do. It's like they like. So, you know, you can't really stop someone from liking something. So I just kind of learned to really just, you know, kind of deal with it, and not in like a necessarily bad way of dealing with it, you know, but like kind of just curiosity. You know, curiosity killed the cat, in this case, the furry cat. That was terrible. But it's just interesting to me. I think the entirety is just interesting to me. I feel like these people that do identify themselves with this group have put up with such a tolerance of hate and objectifying messages towards them just because of what a certain amount of that group is doing. And that really can be said about any fandom and any group. And why furries receive so much hate is maybe it's because they're so open about it. Some furries are. Maybe it's their attitudes towards the hate that really bothers people who are hating on them. Maybe it's that. But for whatever reason, for what their willpower, they fight against it, and they really do kind of ignore it and enjoy themselves. And I think that's respectable. Honestly, I think that's pretty respectable, because you're fighting constant hate, you know, and you're kind of letting it slide past you in a way, and really just embracing what you like to do. And no matter if you like furries or not, I think that's something you can kind of respect, is just ignoring hate and loving what you do. So that's kind of my take on furries. It's obviously there's a lot more to talk about, and I will actually be doing an interview with one of my friends who has agreed to, and they'll kind of explain why they decided that they want to become a furry and why they wanted to associate themselves with that group. And it's going to be interesting, so you can stay ready for that. And I think that concludes about the podcast, so I'll see you later.